Super Llama here. Today's a very special day. It is Canada Day. Well, not just any Canada Day. It is Canada's 150th birthday. And I've been trying to figure out something special to do for Chris Ahrens, Leonna Ahrens challenge lock. And I think today's pretty special enough to do that. So we're gonna pick it. Here's the bidding. It's not the easiest to get in and out of the keyway, so I'm not going to demonstrate the lock working. But when the key is in there, it does work very well. Just getting the key in and out is somewhat a trick. So let's see if we can get into this lock for Chris. It's a pretty big keyway. I've never picked a quick set keyway in my life, so this is a whole new experience for me. Very, very floppy core. Okay. That should be open enough for the forced diamond. Yeah, that should be open enough. Alright, let's see if we can get in here, actually. Bring that up a little bit. There, that's a little nicer. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Counter rotation on 4. That's a click. Counter rotation on 1. Click. Ooh, good false set. That feels like 3. Lost my deep false set. Nothing more on him. Counter rotation on 1, but it doesn't want to move, so I'm going to be manually counter rotating. Didn't feel like I set him very well. Let me try again. That felt like a set, but I've really lost my false set now. Okay, I think I got one set that time, and I really got my false set back. Counter rotation on 3 again. Click off of him, lost a bit of my deep false set. Counter rotation off of 5 feels like. Dropped a bunch of the stuff up front. I'm pretty sure I got him set. Click off of 2. Counter rotation on 1. Feels like I got him set, and we got our deep false set back. Rotation on 4. Lost a bit of our false set. Dead core. Pin 2 is solid. But if I manually counter rotate ever so slightly, it starts to get feedback, so more counter rotation on 2. And check everything else first. Nope, 2 it is, okay. Got him set, but I dropped a lot. Picked 4 or 1 again, and got our false set back. 3. And open on 5. Awesome, awesome lock. I really like the false sets back and forth, Chris. And I do want to apologize. I did mean to be opening this down in Toronto. The heart and of Canada there, because most people love going to Toronto. But being Canada Day, it was super, super busy, and I don't think picking would have been appreciated right down near the CN Tower as much as I would have loved to do it. I'm having one hell of a day with this camera. Anyway, there it is, open. Let's see if we can get into it. I've never had to open a quick-set before. This might be a bit. Chris made this lock in memory of his mother on Mother's Day, and it really got to a lot of people, including myself. It was a very, very lovely video he put out for her. If I remember, I will link that video to my own, and that way you guys can see it. Let's see here, that should do it. And I'm gonna shim it. Pretty sure it's mostly just spools, but it doesn't hurt to shim anyway, a challenge lock. And I think I'm gonna be needing this follower. Yeah. And there we go. So, a little bit of core modification here. Some wallowing out. And I'm seeing some threading. And that might be an undercut on 2, as well as 4, and 5 as well. I'll get a closer look at that after to confirm that. Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to get a closer look at these security pins. That was a pin and pin. Jeez, Chris, you don't go easy anywhere. That looks about right. That would explain why it was such a pain to get that key in and out. This is a pin and pin key pin, but the pin protrudes all the way through to the interaction with the key. This would sit still in my palm for a minute. I can show you guys. There. And if the pin will sit still. Looks like he serrated it a little bit. Very, very nice. And one other pin caught my eye. This one, which looks like a floating wafer, pin and pin, key pin. Now, I've never seen one of these pins before. I know I've got number 5 that I've been trying desperately to get into. I got into it once, but the camera died, so I had to can that video. So it looks like what he's done is he's made the key pin first. He's then drilled a hole inside another pin and then cut it, as you see there, and then wrapped it around the spool of the key pin to make it a floating wafer without sacrificing any of the structural integrity of the brass, unlike myself where I mushroom the end. But it works very, very well. Very nice. This is a really nice threaded key pin. Very, very well done. I can get to the other key pins later, but those are the ones that caught my eye. Looks like we got a graduated spool or mushroom, just like that, for one. Brass spring. Floating wafer driver pin. That's very interesting. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Brass spring. Very deep spool. There's our floating wafers as well. Nope, that's a serrated spool. 1-3. Brass spring. It's a spooled T-pin on 4. And another brass spring. That one's in there pretty good though. Oh, there we go. Oh, double brass spring. My bad. He's doubled them up. And on 5. Oh, where did that go? It looks like a drunken spool setup he's done here with a brass spring. Let me get this out of the way real quick. So he's got a wafer. I think he's got it this way towards the key pin. But Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Might be the other way. And up top, I'm just going to take a quick look here. Oh, he's definitely done something in here. Okay, what do we got? That is very, very hard to see in this. Threaded 1 and 2. Looks like he's wallowed out 3 somehow. 4 and 5 look untouched. Come on, focus. You can see threading on 1 and 2 and that wallowed out 3. But, let's see here. Definitely threaded on 2. Really wallowed out on 3. 4 and 5 feel untouched. Yeah. Okay, and for the plug, threaded, undercut, threaded, undercut, undercut. Those are really nice undercuts too. Chris, you should definitely put out a video on how you make undercuts. I would recommend that. As for the pins, really nice serrated key pin, graduated mushroom spool, floating wafer on floating wafer, I believe. And I'm actually going to take a close look at that. Yeah, he's done the same thing again. He's made a spool, and then he's cut sections to wrap around that spool after. You're probably going to be like that. So this floating wafer, chamber 2. Chamber 3, we've got a really, really nicely serrated pin 3 and the serrated spool on 3. 4, we've got this pin-in-pin with T-pin. And 5, we've got this lightly serrated key pin with a drunken spool on 5. Just give me a minute here while I assemble the lock. Everyone seems to love showing this lock at rest. Definitely going to need the support of my finger for this one. Actually, this will probably, what I'm looking at is probably like that. I don't know if it's going to be that way or this way. Let's see what it looks like upside down. I probably would have done it that way. So I'm going to say Chris probably did the same thing. And on top here, there's the wafer. But there's no way I'm going to be able to balance that on. So, here's the lock at rest. You've got some nasty, nasty undercuts to get caught up by this pin, both top and bottom layer. Get back in there. You've got a walled out section for this T-pin spool. You've got some really nice undercuts for this spool to catch onto. Oh, sorry, threaded. You have this nasty wafer floating pin with extra serration for the undercut, which really is positioned well. You can see that that first cut grabs right into that undercut already. And the graduated spool, just the foot seems to catch into the threads there, but it does an awesome job nonetheless. So Chris, thank you so much for choosing me to take this lock on. I'm sorry I couldn't get it down into the heart of Toronto like I wanted to. Too many cops and things around. I don't think anyone would appreciate a lock picking video right in the middle of town, especially with how busy it is. Nonetheless, everyone, thank you for watching.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.